Good morning and welcome to this week's Fiberific live craft and chat where we craft and chat live. Just having a look at something here and something hasn't worked. So I'm just going to double check. If you can let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, all those things in the chat. That would be awesome. I'm just double check. My stuff on my end doesn't appear to be working, so I'm double checking it. The nature of live. That's what happens. So there we go. It looks like it's working now. Oh, yay. That's awesome. Okay. So there's as you can see me, you can see. Thank you, Angela. Appreciate you. And also Josephine for jumping in and letting me know. It was just a timing thing. It needed a refresh on this end. Whoops. I'm always changing things around. So let me know if the audio is off, if the video is off, anything like that. You guys know the drill. This week has been a fun week, and I know it's not. I know it's not morning for all of you. It's morning for me. I've got my second cup of coffee of the day right here. Good morning, Holly. Jen Deal, thank you. I am still adjusting to the hair. Every now and again, someone will be like, "Oh wow, you've cut it all up," and it's like, "Oh yeah, that's right, I did." But yeah, still adjusting. So I just realized I've got a cord just like hanging in midair, and I'm like, what's that supposed to be for? But I know what it's supposed to be for, and it's okay because it's on the floor over here. I just have to do something with the cord now, I suppose. I disconnected some stuff. Okay, the video looks a little low resi. Yeah, I just realized that that's happening on my replays. Just double check that you've got your check your little settings icon, and you can check to see what YouTube have decided you get to have yours in. I'm just going to run a little speed test here while you do that as well, just in case. Anyway, so this week I've had one of those like normal week pretty much, except I had to move a whole pile of appointments from last week to this week. And so yesterday I had like the weirdest, like 2 appointments that had to go back to back. And it just felt like, well, that defeats the purpose. So yesterday morning I had to have my regular, muscle pushing soreness. Yeah, so it was like, so I go and get a deep tissue massage, and it hurts. Like I've actually got some bruises. I think he'd be horrified to find out that he'd left a bruise, but it was very, very painful. But then, like usually it's like within an hour or so after that, I feel like, whew, legit awesome. Like cloud 9. All the muscles have been released. Everything feels fantastic. And then just as I was starting to feel like, yeah, that's feeling good, I had to jump back in the car and head off to my exercise physiologist appointment, which is like workout. It's a workout. It's like a supervised, we were changing up some of my exercises because of my shoulder dislocation issues. And so we were like, okay, does this hurt? Does this hurt? I'm just checking my uploads and everything's good. Yep. But it was just like, I got home from that and I was just like, because my husband yesterday was a public holiday for where he works. We live it's really bizarre where we are. We're in one city council. Where he works is in another city council, and where our daughter goes to school is another city council. So the public holidays can sometimes be different depending. And so he had the day off, but we both didn't. And so anyway, so I was just like, I've gotten home and he's like, what's wrong with you? And I was just looked at him and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am shattered. It's been like awesome and I'm super excited. I had really good news from my exercise physiologist, which is I'm allowed to go back to the gym with some restrictions, but I'm allowed to go back so I can keep, fixing the problems, building some muscle and some strength, which is my goal. And then I'm just sort of come home and turned into a puddle, just a little puddle. Well, quite a large puddle, just on the couch. And at one stage, my husband's come out and he's like, I don't think you're cooking dinner. And I've just looked at him, I'm like, nope, I'm not. Involves me moving from this chair. The answer is no. So him and Abby went to the shops and picked up some ingredients and then came home and made us a really lovely dinner. So that was pretty damn awesome. But that was yesterday. And you know, like it's just been like this week of just quiet day, then crazy day, then quiet day, then crazy day. If you are a newsletter subscriber, you will have noticed a little email that came out early in the week. And that was kind of like an off the cuff kind of plan. And it was just like, should I do that? Yeah, that sounds like fun. Send. And then I was just like, oh, I may have accidentally set up the coupon code wrong. And the first person who put an order in didn't get 15% off. No, they got $15 off. So I was just like, jump in and fix it as fast as I could before the next orders came through. And I did. Luckily, I got it done really fast. So, you know, look at the things, read the words before you click OK. All right, so I'm just going to have a quick look through the chat here. Lots of you jumping in. Good morning to everybody. Oh, John. Oh, sorry, John. I did see you checked and it was set to 480. Yikes, you're in 1080. Because, like, you know what? This is a pet peeve that I have. Are we ready? Well, it's like I need a graphic that just drags a soapbox in. That would be amazing. I should legit get a graphic that's just a soapbox that just sits here. Just pull it in. Who in the chat, by choice, likes to watch a nice low-res YouTube video? Like a 480p, like not even 720. I've actually had mine down to 288 one time. I'm like, what is wrong with this like video that I'm watching? And I'm like, and realized it was like, was it 288 or 3? It might have been 386, whatever it was. It was ridiculous. Who here in the chat likes to watch nice low resolution videos? Now there is a legitimate reason to watch in lower resolution. If you have poor internet or expensive internet, or if you're using mobile data and you don't have much data, that's a whole nother topic. But if you're like on good internet, why does YouTube think we want 480 ever? But you can't set, give me 1080 all the way. Give me 4K if they've got it. They won't let you choose that. They automatically choose for you every single time you open a video. They go, oh yeah, you'll watch this in 480. We don't need you to stream that at 1080. No, like no crispy clear pictures. Give us some grain. We want the grain. Nobody says that. Holly says, I do not. I love that. Yeah, I'm with you. Give me the high res. 55-inch TV. I don't need no stinking 480. Oh my gosh, that would look dreadful. Francis, low res, yes or no? Sally says she doesn't have a 1080 option. Sally, really? That surprises me. So you've clicked the dial. Oh, it may not let you choose. It may tell you higher, depending on if you're on a laptop or on a mobile phone. If you're on a phone, when you click it, it says higher quality. So you can click the higher quality. I don't know why it doesn't tell us the numbers anymore, but it says higher quality or lower quality or whatever the heck we recommend. Maybe it's those mums who give their phones to their infants while shopping. Hey, it could be. It could be. Sally says her highest is 720. Wow, I'm just double checking my stream to make sure. Well, John got to choose 1080, didn't he? I'm just also double checking that I'm outputting. Yeah, I'm outputting in 1080. I'm just double checking. Yes, I am. Okay, cool. Just wanted to double check that before I got too high up on my little soapbox. Lisby said they had me on 720, fixed it to 1080. Jen says mine does not have a choice. So for those of you that are wondering what we're talking about, if you click the little gear icon, so if you tap your screen and all your stuff comes up, a little gear icon comes up. If you click that, I'm just going to bring up my phone just so I can walk through it in my brain. So YouTube, make sure that's turned right down just in case. Okay, so click a video, tap the screen, gear icon. For me, it's up on the top right. It just stuck me on 480. So I've got a choice of higher picture quality or data saver, or if you click advanced, you can choose whatever you want. I've chosen 1080. But the thing to remember is that it doesn't remember it. So the next time you go to watch a YouTube video, it's going to choose for you all over again. And so, so if you ever look at a video and you think, gosh, that's looking a bit grainy, just double check what resolution YouTube has decided you're going to watch it in. Okay. Sally says, just double checked and now I have a 1080 option. Weird. Freaky says, when did it go from 780 to 1080? I think it was 720 to 1080. I don't know. Years. I don't know. Yeah, Ruth, yours will say high quality. If you slide down further, you can see advanced options, and then you can choose the number, but higher quality will bump you up to the next highest one anyway. So, oh, Bub, you see, Bub is the exception. Bub is the one that has the limited download and the terrible internet, so she watches in 360. And I understand that. And that's what I was saying right at the start, is other than people like you, why would we ever want to watch it in 480 or 360? Oh my gosh. If I'm in the car and it's something I more want to listen to than watch, I'll drop it down to 244, 360. The audio doesn't really change, just the video quality. Interesting that this is the first time I'm hearing of a higher number from Freaky. Really freaky. I think I've been streaming in 1080 now for, it's got to be 3 or 4 years, I think. I used to do 720 when I started because I didn't have the internet to stream in 1080. Because that's the other thing to remember, is sometimes the streamer can't send out anything higher than, say, 720. Most people don't use anything under 720 anymore. Like in their output, you can watch it lower, but when they output it. So yeah, I don't know. Oh, John says, sorry, Jen Deal says, I'm wrong. Mine was at 240. 240. Oh my gosh, that would have been terrible. Judith says, my phone on 1080p, have learned something today. Yeah, we'll try to make sure that we learn something interesting all the time, even if it's not craft related. Like I try to, like someone asked me this week, oh, what do you do in your live streams? And I'm like, so while I'm crafting, we talk about pretty much anything and everything. So yeah, that's kind of the thing, isn't it? We really do talk about lots and lots of things. Vampire says, I have mine almost always set to 720. Yeah, if you're on a mobile phone, you may not notice much difference between 720 and 1080. They're both high definition. I do notice, but I think it's because I'm a nerd. But if I've got it on the television, I notice instantly when I change from 720 to 1080. But on my phone, 720 is fine. On my laptop, I prefer 1080, and on my TV, I prefer 1080. Because my laptop, I have a secondary screen. I just looked at it. My big screen, it's a 32-inch screen, so it's a television size screen. Knitspin Girls Creation says, I've learned something today too. That makes a huge difference. That's awesome. That's exactly right, Francis. Wait, hang on, come back. Just like any craft group, we chat about anything and everything. That's right. At craft group, sure, we talk about our craft a bit, but we're normally doing our craft while talking about everything. So I love that about you guys, that we can do that I don't sort of have to sit here and talk yarny stuff the entire 2 hours, because I love yarny stuff. I don't know if I could do a 2-hour talk. Unless it was like a class or a workshop or something. I don't know if I could just ramble for 2 hours about craft. Yeah. John says, I already put my dinner, craft, and TV screenshot in the fun zone. Good job, John. Do it. I love those, like after I finish the live stream, it's lunchtime for me. So I go out to the lounge with my lunch in my lap, because I sit on the couch to eat my lunch, with my phone in my hand, and I go through the Facebook stuff and I check everything you guys have showed us throughout the live stream. So if you've got photos you want to share of what you're crafting right now, Any food or drink that you have, like for me, you guys can see my drink. I got my coffee going with my oat milk, which I'm quite enjoying the oat milk. I think I like oat milk better than almond. I don't know. I do. I think I like oat milk better. Um, so yes, start talking really slow. Stretch your topic. That's annoying. Do you guys find that annoying? I find like it's a me thing. I think it's a me thing. I'm that person who will listen to audiobooks, podcasts, YouTube videos, double speed. Now, there's a few people that talk quite quickly, so maybe 1.5 speed for them. But for most things, I amp that speed up. I'm just like, dude, like I'm here for you. I'm here to listen to every single word you say, but I don't like the big gaps between your words. I know you're doing it for emphasis. Don't need your emphasis. I understand the words. So I'm like, faster, faster, faster. One time I was like, I wonder how fast I could listen to something and still take in what they're saying. And it was just like, all right, all right. But I think double speed is about the limit. Like I can listen to something like for entertainment at triple speed, depending on the speaker and how fast they already spoke. But double speed seems to be my comfort zone. I can see the end of my never-ending weaving commission. Oh, yay! That's awesome. Congratulations, Gamer Widows. Oh, and I saw your new hook, Holly, and it is gorgeous. I absolutely love it. I think it is beautiful. Did you add a link into where you got it from? Like, is it something someone else could buy? Molly says, sometimes you have to talk slow when speaking to someone who has English as a second language. Yeah, yeah. If I'm speaking face to face with somebody and I can see that they're struggling to understand what I'm saying, I'll slow down, I'll reword, I'll do it. But in a YouTube video, no. That's what the speed icon's for. If they want to hear me slower, they can slow me down. They can slow me down to a quarter of the speed I speak by using the same dial that we talked about before. So tap on your screen, bring it up, and you'll see a little cog icon. When you tap that, you can also see your replay speed. And so you can change that for yourself. And then you can make it whatever you want at whatever speed. Now, there are some tutorials that I'll slow right down so I can watch every slow hook maneuver. But when I'm recording it, I record it sort of at this. I do slow down a little when I'm recording a tutorial so that I can speak through the stitches rather than just do them. But if I'm doing something that needs explaining or speaking to, and it's in a video, there's a cog. People can make it however fast or slow they want. Let me look. English is hard. English, that's why I make up words, because English is so hard. I was accidentally listening to a podcast at double speed when I realized and slowed it down, and it sounded like they were drunk. So I only listen on double speed now. Natalie, I didn't realize that with the Google, I think it's the Google podcast app. I don't know if it's the same on other podcast apps, but most things it's like you normally set your speed and then it moves to the next episode and drops back to original speed. And then, but then it was, but in Google Podcast, it starts playing the next one on double speed, and it keeps playing in double speed until you change it. And I was listening to something in double speed while I was doing housework. Took my phone out to the car, wanted to continue on listening. Like this was, I'd paused it, done other stuff for a couple of hours, sat in the car, and I was like, "Oh, that's double speed on that one. I'll slow that down for while I'm in the car." And I slowed it down, and I was just like, "Oh no, yeah, exactly the same thing." I was like, "Why are they talking so slow?" I can add the maker. Each hook is unique, and honestly, it was hard to choose one. I can imagine. That's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Carries down the rabbit hole is multitasking. She's spinning lace and playing ball with Snoopy and watching me. That is some serious multitasking. Absolutely. Let me know in the chat what you're working on. I got my queen out. I'm sitting here having coffee, having a chin wag to start with, but I'll move to the queen soon. I'm just keeping up the chat. Actually, John, there is a way. So if you grab your slider and pull it back further back in the stream, you can click double speed and it'll double speed it right up to where we are live right now. But it will mean you're behind in the chat. Francis says, this function is really useful for musicians while you're learning a piece and can't play it at the faster speed. Slow it down so you can play along. Yeah, absolutely. Game Widow says, I discovered how much I rely on lip reading when mask wearing came into effect. Absolutely. Vampire says, I always need things slowed down or listen a few times to the same info. I have hearing issues. Yeah, and that's one of the advantages is that you can do that. You can just rewind and play again. You can slow it down. I love the function. I love the function of being able to make it just how we all individually need it. Hang on a second. Angela, I'm making another post-virus shawl. What a surprise. You were cranking those out. Molly is working, dyeing yarn, working and knitting. That is awesome. Vampire is finally up to the sleeves of her jumper. That is great. Kathy says, I think you know what I'm working on. I'm going to hazard a guess, and I'm going to say a hat. Let me know if I'm right. Because I probably won't be. You've probably done something and posted something somewhere and I've missed it. Spinning some amazing fiber, merino, baby camel, alpaca, and silk. That does sound amazing. Oh, that sounds lovely. I got my swivel cables in the mail. I haven't tested them fully though. I'd love to hear your thoughts when you're ready to share. Lisby's back from hospital. I saw your post about that and I'm glad to hear that it went okay. Now I'm home from hospital. I'm going to try and focus on my Beersheba spinning. Nice. I got a new jigsaw puzzle this week and I'm loving it. I love a good jigsaw puzzle. My only issue with jigsaw puzzles, right, is I'm a control freak. So if I lay out like, like a 2,000 piece puzzle or something on the table, that's my puzzle to do. You keep your fingers off. You keep walking. Don't be like walking past the table as someone else's puzzle and put a bit in. No, that's my puzzle. Get your own puzzle. Oh, I'm definitely not a sharer. Correct. Number 93. Oh my gosh. Is your goal 100? Artog, hey, welcome to the chat. Still plugging away at blankets. That's awesome. Sally says, yes, I have hearing issues, as many of you know, but I actually have a condition called central audio processing disorder, which makes it take longer to process what I'm hearing, so slower the better. Awesome. That's good to know. I didn't realize that was exactly what your issue. I knew you had an issue. I didn't know what the issue exactly was. That's good to know. Yeah. I think I've caught up with the chat just about. Game Widow says, jigsaw puzzle abandoned my house because I'll start and not move until it's finished. I mean, that is a problem. That's a legit problem. I have been known to stay at the table so long that when I go to stand up, my back does not, it's like, hello, I thought we moved to that position permanently. And I'm like, no, I need to stand. Kerry says I'm no sharer either. Oh, Kathy's just going to keep going until the end of the month. That's awesome. That's great. Oh, John's worse. John's worse than putting the piece in the puzzle. He's just going to steal that puzzle piece. I could see my husband doing that and just putting it somewhere just so I couldn't see it. Yeah. Yeah. Brat is right. All right. So I'm going to flip us over here so I can crochet and keep watching the chat. I'm onto a purple row. Just realized when I shake the table, the microphone shakes. I hope that does nothing for you guys, as in nothing bad. Not as in does nothing. I don't know what I'm saying. What day is it? It's Thursday. It's live stream day. So let me think. I went and visited my mum. So last Sunday, Abby and I jumped in the car. Oh man, I meant to grab a Band-Aid. Somehow I've cut my finger. And it's in the spot that my hook literally slides over the cut every single time. I'm left-handed again. Wait, what? Oh, I changed the cameras around. Maybe I didn't. Hang on. Let me just see if I can fix it. Properties. I would like to flip it. Yeah, it is. It's showing me as left-handed. Okay, let me just. All right, let me see what I've got to do here. Flip vertically. Is that the one we want? Nope. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know why I'm doing it. Hang on a second. I don't understand why it. Hang on. I'm just seeing if there's a button. There was a button. We fixed it before, didn't we? Default. Configure the video. I can't see it. Hang on. I'm just having a look. There's no way to flip there. There's no way to flip there. We've got a flip vertically button, but not a flip horizontally button. Hang on. All right, hang on. I know, like, we've done this before. We've fixed it before. We know how to fix it. But do you think I can? No. No, I don't want to add anything. I want to transform. That just moves it. It doesn't flip it. Close. Oh, we've done this before. Hang on. I'm just going to Google it. Flip webcam vertically in AEST. Oh, look at that. It comes up. And we've definitely searched for this before. Make sure your camera is correctly. Okay, so it should be mirrored. I don't want it mirrored. Horizontally. Transform, flip horizontal. It should have been right there. It should have been a button. Hang on. Cancel, right click, transform, flip horizontal. Hang on. I know why it's not letting me. I have it locked. Unlock, transform. Bam! I'm right-handed again. How easy is that? Sorry. Let's lock that back up. All right, that's why I didn't show me the option, because I lock everything down so I don't accidentally bump it and it slides off the screen. Oh, goodness me. All right. I shut YouTube. Clever. Well done. Smart person. Let's bring it back. It only shuts it for me. Like, it doesn't do anything for you guys. I just like to have it open so that I can see what I'm doing. So it'll come back. Yay! Yay! Oh my goodness. Okay. The things that oh my goodness. We've learned a thing again, Freaky Geek. It was something we've done before, but because I actually this week I moved the webcam and made it so I didn't have to flip it vertically anymore. It's actually facing the right direction. Because what was happening is I'd move my hand under and there's a delay, and the delay is bugging me, and I thought that would fix it. It didn't fix it. The delay is still there, but I figured there's less hardware up here now and it's less close to my head. So I can live with that. I can live with it. But we've done it. We've learnt the old thing again. But note to self, when you're trying to change things on your camera, you need to unlock it so that you can do that. Anyway, you guys didn't need to be there for all of that, but that's what happens. Hey, who in this chat was in Claire's chat yesterday? Because it looked like I watched back the replay. She rocked the chat on her own yesterday. She did a fantastic job. I'm trying to keep my hook away from that cart. Seriously. Sue Singleton, welcome to the chat. Freaky says, I found I can ignore the delay watching the chat. And you know what? I try to ignore the delay as well because it's not a huge delay, but it is a delay. And it does bug me, and I don't understand why, because it's not always there, which is the other thing that does bug me, is it's like intermittent. I hate intermittent issues. Drives me up the wall. Holly joined the chat yesterday. Angela was in the chat. Sally was in the chat. John says, if I out 5 sides of another square, I'm just going to make a pentagon. Oh, if you make another 5-sided square, you'll just make a pentagon. I mean, put. Okay. Put. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. What day is it? I just had to do like a thing, and now my brain's fried. It's like legit fried. Freaky says, hello to all showing up. Remember to hit that like button and change the top chat to live chat. Good thing that you said that, Freaky, because when I had to jump back in, I changed it live chat before, but now I have to put back in the live chat again. Jen was over there for a little, so that is awesome. Did I miss a comment while I was doing all of that? Is Judith looking for something? Hang on, I'm just scrolling back. I've missed it. I can't see what Judith's after. Pentagons for the win, absolutely. Nitspin says, better a delay than something you recorded earlier that bears no resemblance at all to what you're actually doing. I mean, truth. Yeah, that is very true. That is so very true. I don't know. Guys, I know this is painful, but I'm going to have to go and get a Band-Aid because this is going to keep, it's very much slowing me down. So I'm going to pop on my little be right back. You guys, be good in the chat. And don't upset the mods, and because they can just whack you with their spanners, or their wrenches. Sorry, like a lot of our American friends, they don't call them spanners; they call them wrenches. So I'm gonna go and grab a little Band-Aid for my finger, like a big old baby, because it's actually really quite sore, and I keep whacking it with the hook, making it sorer. So I'll be back very soon with a Band-Aid. I'm back. You'll be very proud of me. I nearly had to give up and use one of Tim and Abby's Band-Aids. Yes, we have different Band-Aids. I have to use sensitive Band-Aids because my skin doesn't like adhesives, so much so that it actually takes the skin off it. And I was going to use one. I was going to use one of they're Band-Aids because I couldn't find my box of Band-Aids because I very rarely need a Band-Aid. Did I put that on too tight? I think I've put it on too tight. Who else here can never put a Band-Aid on at the desired desired tightness the first time around? Where are we? Well, she's gone. We can cause trouble. No, Atog, I'm back now. Very funny. I'll tell you what though, if you if seen like a camera shot of me trying to leave the room, I fell into the fan, I banged into the door, then giggled all the way to the kitchen because it looked like I was drunk. So that's my life. Okay, so I finished my coffee. But I made a thermos of tea, guys. I was prepared and wanted my tea to stay hot all the way to the end. So hopefully my voice wouldn't disappear because I have another call later on today. And I can't have no voice for that one either. So we've got some of Natalie's mint slice tea. So mint slice? Mint slice? Yeah, it's mint slice. My brain's like, maybe that's not what it's called and you've just said the wrong thing. But Emma will tell me. I would, but I'm not close enough. Very funny. It's all Freaky's fault. I'm innocent. I don't believe that for a second. Okay, Leanne's saying that Judith was wondering if anybody had some Moda Precious Grey color 4 in their stash if she's a little short. I don't have any. A really great place to check is Ravelry. You can actually, if you search that yarn, you can see what's in people's stashes, and sometimes you can actually offer to buy it. And they might, even if they say not for sale, you can still send them a message through Ravelry just going, look, I understand that you have this marked as not for sale, but I'm desperate. And they may come to your rescue. I've had people come to the rescue for me. It's definitely worth the message. Mint slice, yes, excellent. Okay, cool. So yeah, mint slice tea. Yeah, it's so good, honestly. It is such good tea. I don't know if is Nat in the chat today? Oh, now I've got to crochet with a Band-Aid. I don't know what's worse, stabbing myself in a sore ouchy bit with a hook or crocheting with a Band-Aid on. After 3 stitches, stabbing myself with a hook is worse. Yeah. I will adjust to the less slippy over the Band-Aid. Oh my gosh. Okay. Does I know this might sound like a bizarre question, but do any of you have like a favorite Band-Aid shape? Like, because I don't know if this happens in other countries. I'm sure it does. I'm sure we're not the only one who sell these mixed boxes of Band-Aids, like the little circles and the thinner Band-Aids and the giant Band-Aids and the squares. Like, do any of you have a favorite shape that you're like, oh man, I'm out of that one. I'm going to have to use one of the boring ones, because that's where I was at. I had to use the one I don't prefer. I did get the thinner one, like there's a thicker one than this, but which is fine for like, you know, other stuff. But my favorite shape are the circles. I like the little circles. They just cover a little bit and I don't have to worry about pulling them too tight over things, because I do that. I pull Band-Aids too tight like every single time. Oh, Angela, tell us how you really feel. You don't like the mixed boxes? You prefer the traditional shape? Well, that's awesome, because we could share the mixed boxes. I could get all the shapes I want and you could have all the boring rectangles. John says, nope, my favorite is the one that covers the thing. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I actually do this thing where I buy flexi tape, like, because I end up having to, I'm basically the house nurse. I end up having to do all sorts of wound protection and things like that. And so I buy like sheets of the Milor, which is the fabric-y wound stuff with the shiny stuff. And then I buy this, oh, hello, Lou. I buy this it's like a big roll of the sticky stuff, and you put down the soft stuff to protect, and then you cover it with the thing. And I love that stuff. Also, it doesn't peel my skin off. So I tend to make a lot of my own Band-Aids using that stuff, but little things like this I don't. Lisby says, I have the same problem with my skin. I use a product called Skin Prep under the tape, and another one called Remove to protect the skin as it comes up. I think maybe your reaction might be a dash worse, because as long as I'm using a sensitive, I'm okay. Like, it'll still be a little bit red, but it won't be, like, the skin will still be there. Like, woohoo. I can't use them in my elbow after blood test. Oh yeah, I can't use micropore, which is like in Australia, what they do after you have a blood test is you get a cotton wool bud and some micropore tape. And then they just sort of stick it here, like, you know, wherever your blood work is done, it's just like blub. And same deal, I get a big bruise. And if I just say to them, look, hey, can I just hold this on for a bit? Like, how long do I need to hold on there for? Like, they're like, just 5 minutes. I'm like, cool, I'm just going to hold this on. And so you sort of hold it, bend your elbow while you sign all your paperwork. And then I get no bruise. So it's not like they're giving me the bruise when they're giving me the needle, which someone tried to convince me of. It's like, oh no, you've just got a bad phlebotomist. No, I've just got bad skin, dude. Back it up. Don't blame the phlebotomists for my dumb skin. Oh, Louis like fully curled up on the floor here behind me, which is super adorable. I'll take a photo, but the floor needs vacuuming, so I'm not sharing that. Yeah, again, widows, I agree with you. Quite often I don't use a Band-Aid. Like, and normally if this had been anywhere else, I would have left it. I wouldn't have put a Band-Aid on it. But because I was stabbing it with my own hook and dragging yarn over it, it was not fun. It was not made of fun. Lisby says mine started that way and got worse over time. Yeah, I noticed when my knee was really bad and I had to keep it taped that nothing was saving my skin. It just came off. It was not a fun time. I'm just keeping an eye on the chat here. Yeah. I get the same bruises after blood tests. I get the same bruises after blood tests. Removed, fixed it. Yeah, agreed. Bempy says I take my own Band-Aid blood tests because I'm allergic to half the tapes I use. Me too. Yep. Yep. I like the old style cut your own fabric Band-Aids. I know the ones you mean, like the big rolls. Yep. But I can't use Leukoplast. So I can't. They don't. Do they do a sensitive in the big rolls? Because it's the same company that owns them, so they might do a sensitive in the big roll. I don't know. I tend to just, like, the reason why I nearly had to use one of Tim's and Abby's is because my little Band-Aid box has been going for like 5 years and it's tucked in the back of the cupboard, whereas I go through theirs like ridiculousness. And so it was right at the front. I had to get a step out so I could see into the back of the cupboard because I'm short and the cupboard is above the fridge. Hey, who else here puts their first aid stuff in a cupboard above their fridge? Just out of curiosity. Is it just me? I guess I'm a normie. I can use any Band-Aid regardless of adhesive. Yeah, that's like my husband. He can just use whatever. Like, you could just, glue it on and he'd be fine. Game Widow says the waterproof ones are the worst. So after surgery, I'd have to deal with the... Yeah, I agree with you. They are the worst. They're not my favorite. Let's just go with that. I don't know if they're the worst, but they're definitely not my favorite. I normally have to get a nurse to come and take my ones off because I need them to treat whatever extra problem there's going to be underneath it. Francis says almost it's the high cupboard above the microwave. Holly keeps her Band-Aids in the bathroom. Because I've got like a lot of medical stuff because I've got the Clumsy family from Clumsy. I can basically do everything except for stitches. Stitches and setting bones. I can't do either of those two things, but I have a very comprehensive first aid kit that takes up quite a lot of space. And yeah. So Band-Aids are in a little basket next to the first aid kit, but I keep them all together because just in case I need any kind of ointments or anything as well, any antibacterial or antiseptic creams, they're all there too. Cupboard above the fridge, could have anything in it at all, I'd never know. Not a hope of me ever reaching it. Fair enough, Leanne. Fair enough. I have to get like, unless it's right at the front, which I normally put things in baskets so I can just pull the basket out. But if stuff falls out of the basket, like, which is what happened here, I've got a little step that I just kick over in front of the fridge, and then I'm like, hello, I'm very tall all of a sudden. I am 6 foot, la 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 la. I know, I get very excited when I feel tall. I stand on it sometimes just to look around the kitchen, just to be like, this is what it would feel to be a tall person. Oh my gosh. But the reality is, it probably makes me like 5'9" or 5'10". It doesn't actually make me a tall person. I mean, not a legit tall person. Cupboard in the hallway between the bathroom and the kitchen, and the first aid kits in most rooms because I have 3 tiny humans. Yeah. Look, I used to keep small first aid kits everywhere, but as Abby got older, I was just like, it's in the kitchen. So basically now everyone knows if someone can travel and move to like if they've cut their hand or something, everyone just moves to the kitchen and then yells for me. I remember one time I got a phone call from Abby, and she was at a friend's house, and something had happened, but basically Abby had cut her foot open on, I think it was like a pot plant thing that had a sharp edge on it. Anyway, Abby's rung me and she's like, Mom, I need you to come over and bring the first aid kit with you. And I was just like, why? What do I actually need? What have you done? And I told her, or she told me, and I was just like, Abs, it sounds like, doesn't where you are have anything? And she's like, no, no, Mum, they don't, apparently they're not very clumsy here, and they don't have even any Band-Aids. I was just like, I'll be there soon. So I jumped in the car, brought all my stuff over, sat down, cleaned it all out with saline, you know, checked it, double checked, make sure it wasn't deep enough for stitches, and then covered it all up. And like this kid's mum was looking at me like I was some kind of freak. And she was just like, you just sit down and do it. Like, she's like, I was thinking about taking her to the hospital. I'm like, she doesn't need stitches. And she goes, but there was blood. And I'm like, yeah, but like Abby said, there's not much blood. It just needs a Band-Aid. Like if Abby thought she needed stitches, she would tell you she needs stitches. Anyway, I'm like, okay, Abs, you want to come home with me and put your foot up? She's like, no. So apparently then they cleaned up the pot plant. And they just kept playing. Abby put a sock over her foot and off she went. And I've sat down and had a coffee with this mum, and she was just like, how often do you have to patch her up? Like, you look just to be so calm about it. I'm like, I'll be shaking later, but right now I'm fine. I'll be able to get home, and it won't be until I sort of think, oh my God, later. And yeah, and I'm like, look, you know what? She's pretty gung-ho. She likes to get into stuff. So yeah, you know what? I have had to learn some skills. Also, my husband's a bit clumsy, so, more skills. And she just laughed. So it was kind of, she was like, can you send me a list of the things I should have here, just in case my kids ever have something where I just need to check it? I was like, yep, no worries. So I got home and sent her a list of all my must-haves in my first aid kit, but it was kind of funny. A pot plant, yeah, like a potted plant in a ceramic thing, like with a water tray. It was outside on their balcony, but it was full of dirt and had a plant in it. Artsog says, I'm the only one in my house who can easily reach the top cupboard. I hold all the top cupboard power. Ha 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 ha. I have a ladder, dude. I've got my step. I've got this step. I'm bending down because I actually have one right here. I have this step. Basically, there's one in most rooms of the house. It's just a little collapsible step right? It's a bit dusty. It's been on the floor. I have about 3 of them. There's one in here. I also use it under my desk as a footstool. And then there's one in the kitchen, and then there's one in the laundry. But also in the laundry is a proper like 3-step ladder that can get me right to the roof. So yeah. And then outside I have like a full ladder to get me onto the outside of the roof. So yeah, because I need to do that sometimes. I used to have a first aid kit strapped to me for one of my jobs when I was massaging. I had a very comprehensive first aid kit in the office. Yeah, you kind of got to. John says Army combat medic training comes in handy with kids. I mean, I wish I had that kind of training. I have no training. I'm like, does that hurt? Nope, good, done. Angela says my late husband has a serious first aid kit. He was a Boy Scout and a veteran. Yeah. Sometimes it's just things that we learn. Takes up a couple of big boxes. Yeah, mine takes up a few crates in the top of a cupboard. I've got one that's like, the stock standard Band-Aids, a bit of cream, blah, blah, blah. But then the one next to it's all like the bandages and all the extra like, sterile swabs and all that sort of stuff. John says, I've had that exact same step in my kitchen for a while. Hey, it's a good step. And sometimes you just need like that extra 30 centimeters or 12 inches just to be just that bit. For me, it's like the difference between being able to see in the back of the cupboard in the kitchen or not. I don't have issues reaching most things, but the boy's 6 foot, so he can reach all that I can't. Yeah. Francis, I have a teenage son approaching 6 foot, useful to get things from the cupboard. I mean, Tim's not much taller than I am. He's only a few inches taller than me. But Abby's a few inches taller than him. Like, so she's quite a bit taller than me now, which she likes to rub in. She finds that whole thing very amusing. Is that a standard kid thing, or is Abby just particularly cruel with that? Like, I'm taller than you. I'm so much taller than you now. Oh, hey, it's time to go and get your hair done. I can see all the grays on the top of your head. And you're just like, go away. Stop looking. John says Boy Scout veteran. Yeah. And Game Widows is a scout leader. Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine teens would be quite gung-ho with some things, for sure. Definitely. Yeah. Oh, this feels heaps better. I should have put a Band-Aid on it like yesterday. But no, I don't like using Band-Aids unless I have to. Anyway, I don't know why. Well, I do know why. Because Band-Aids are sticky and they leave sticky stuff on me, and some sticky stuff is bad on my skin. How close to the end of this are we? I was chatting with Claire after a live stream yesterday, and she was like, oh my God, Chantelle, how do you get any crochet done during a live stream? And I was just like, I don't get much done. It appears that I may be crocheting a long time, but I quite often just stop with the hook hanging out of the project and chat more. And I was explaining how, like, I timed how long it takes to do one of these rows on the Queen, and it's like 15 to 20 minutes, except I'm always really excited if I get 3 rows done in a 2-hour live stream. Like, woohoo, we got 3 rows. That's awesome. That's like a record. Is 3 rows our record? I think it is. I don't remember. I don't think we've finished 4 rows. I think we may have started a 4th row, like barely, but I don't think we've ever finished a 4th row. I could be wrong. I could be legit wrong. Oh, goodness me. I'm going to have some more tea. So what's in your cups, everybody? One more. I've got my mint sliced tea from Tea Fatalia. And if you want to get your own mint sliced tea, you should totally get some because it is delicious. Jackie says, I used to be a trainer for a rugby club. I eventually pared down my kit to Elastoplast, betadine, Vaseline, Ventolin, gauze, Band-Aids, scissors, and plastic bags for ice. I mean, that's a pretty solid kit for, you know, what you guys are doing. Like lots of strapping, occasional wound cover, and probably lots of ice. It's nighttime here, so I have beer. Awesome. That's great. Because that's the thing to remember. While it's mid-morning for me, it's not mid-morning for everybody. Jackie said anything more usually needed an ambulance. And that's probably a fair call. Normal black tea for Molly. Nice. Angela says, I just refilled my 96-ounce water jug. Gosh. 2.89 liters. I hope you're not drinking, like, all of that more than once a day. Because there is a medical thing for being overhydrated as well. You can actually drown your brain if you drink too much water, but you've got to drink a lot and quickly. Let me see here. Yeah, I'd be interested to see how much crafting we get done at retreat. I know I probably won't get much done. Last year, I took so much to do and just legit got hardly any of it done. I was like, yeah, I'll do some stuff. I'm going to bring my queen to work on because that's my focus. And I can work on my queen while I run a live stream. So I should be able to work on a queen while I chat to people at a retreat. I mean, I say that. Who knows? Who knows if I can actually do that? I'm just scrolling into the chat. No cup. Contemplating getting a coffee milk, but that would require getting off the couch. And sometimes, you know what? You're just not thirsty enough. You're like, no. That's legit. It's legit. Leanne says, I have purchased some mint tea and vanilla tea for collection at the retreat. Yeah, that's awesome. It's nearly 9 p.m. for John as well. That's cool. Just water for Francis. Been looking at mosaic crochet pattern. Is the queen inset mosaic or overlay mosaic? I don't know. I don't know the difference. I would say it's inset mosaic. Although I don't know. Somebody else would have to answer that because this is my first mosaic project. It might be, I don't know. Because, yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I'm sorry, Sue. It's doing my head in, though. I would love to know if somebody else knows the answer, if it's inset or overlay. Deb D is drinking some milky Narada. Nice. Holly's hydrating with water. Fantastic. Jen says, I haven't decided what to bring to retreat. It could be anything. Yep. Angela says she drinks that throughout the whole day. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm crossing all the things I've picked up my hook before retreat. I'm crossing all the things I've picked up my hook before retreat. Oh, okay. Yep. Oh, Jackie answered the question, did she? Just mosaic? Okay. Well, because I know it's mosaic. I just don't know which kind. John says it's overlay. Here we go. John's explaining it. Thank you, John. Inset is 2 rows of each color. Overlay is 1 row of each color. Then it's overlay because it's 1 row of each color. Thank you, John. Champion. Okay. Sally also would say overlay. Excellent. Lots of people answering. Fantastic. Leanne's like Googling. I mean, if I hadn't been on live stream, I would have just been like, I don't know what that is. Hot black sugar-free coffee. See, I like the sugar-free part. Excuse me, sorry. But I do like milk. I'm bringing Gamer Widow says, I'm bringing project bags, stitch markers, and stuff to retreat, craft-wise spindles and needles like last time. Awesome. Thanks for the reminder about Ravelry Stash. Yes, look, it may not bear any fruit this time, but it might, and it might be just enough to help you. Lisby is drinking Barry's tea. How does Barry feel about that? I mean, I don't really know what to say. Like, poor Barry. Vampire says white coffee with sugar. Need to drink it faster as it's cold now. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's never like I'm not going to drink it because it's cold. No, I'll just drink it quicker because it's cold. I actually bought a cold brew again the other day. We were out and about, and I just grabbed one. And Abby's like, I haven't seen you buy a cold brew in ages. And I said, I haven't bought one since you and Dad bought me the cold brew kit. And I said, but it's been too cold to make like a whole jug of it. But it's starting to, we're getting some warmer times through the days now. So probably in a few weeks, I'll make some cold brew. It's like, be right back. I'm going to rattle the kettle. I've got my tea thermos, so I can top my cup up. I might actually top it up now because it was a bit hot to start with. So I'll top it up with some of the cool down tea from the room. La 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 la. We have tea. And I'll have to give it a clean out because I'm going to need it again tonight for another call. That's the other thing that's been happening. Like, my washing machine's dying, okay? Like, some of you already know that. And it doesn't like to spin. Like, it doesn't mind, like, rotating, like, for a standard wash. But at the end, when you want to spin it out, it needs to be... it needs the faster spinning speeds, and it gets a nice little bit of friction smoke in the machine when that happens. So we're currently running loads with a no spin at the end. So luckily I still have my yarn spinner out in the back patio because I'm like filling up the baskets with like this sopping. And I said to my husband, it's like I'm a kid again. He goes, what do you mean? I'm like, well, other than the fact of traveling a distance, it's like an old school twin washer. Wash it in one machine, tip it into another to spin it out and then hang it out. My husband just looked at me. He had no idea what a twin washing was. Like a twin tub was. And I was just like, you never had a twin tub? And he was like, no, Mum always had one that you just open the lid on. And I was just like, far out. We had twin tubs for years. Like, one would die and Mum would buy another one. Friction smoke doesn't sound healthy. No, we've got a guy coming tomorrow. So fingers up. Can you guys all send some positive energy my way? I really don't want to buy a new washing machine right now. And I really want for this guy to just be able to fix it on the spot, like not do the whole, well, I've pulled your machine apart, but now I need to wait 6 weeks for parts or something. I really don't want that, because that means if he pulls my machine apart and then can't fix it, I have to use the laundromat. And I have a thing about the laundromat. Don't like the laundromat. Good night, Ruth. Have an awesome night. And it's just a thing. I don't know. I even checked with my mum. I'm like, Mum, why don't I like the laundromat? I said, I remember us going as, as a kid, but I don't understand why I don't like it. She's like, you get bored. And I'm like, really? Is that it? And she was like, well, yeah. You just get bored. Also, I remember some time ago, some dude talked to you. He was fine. He owned the laundromat. But she did not like that. And I'm like, maybe that's it. Maybe when I'm at the laundromat, I don't want to make eye contact. I don't want to talk to people. So we have to cross our fingers that the guy can just fix it, that I don't need a new one, because I don't really want to go out and buy a new one, because there's also wait times for the new ones. Oh, we are at the end of the row. I just want it fixed. That's it. I just want it fixed. Chantelle says, so last time was it the valve broken? We haven't had anyone have a look at it yet since all the problems. Like, since the water feature night, which some of you guys would all know about it having the water feature. Yeah. Hang on, I've just got it. Just 1, 2, 3 at the end. Okay. That was just user error on behalf of a different user. There we go. That is Dunsky's. Pull that through. That row is done. Hang on a second. I just need to mark my little pages. Up to 181. Okay, we are part the way through our third. Oh, I didn't mark. Did I just ditch the second? I think I just ripped it off and threw it away. Which, oh no, there it is. We go up to 208, 206. There we go. I'm just marking things so I can find them. So I just had to remind myself, I'm here. And I need to get to here before I can turn the page and then go from here all the way to here and be finished. Excited much? Yes, I am. Why, thank you for asking. I have a tickle in my throat. John was saying something about, didn't you have coffee? I had coffee at the start. I had coffee in this cup. And when I finished my coffee, I brought in my spare Fiberific cup. If you would like your own Fiberific cup, you can get one at fiberific.redbubble.com. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Oh, come out, little thing. Oh, when do I change colours? That was the other thing I wanted to double check. I'm still a ways off that, so that's good. Alrighty. But yeah, no, I moved over to tea, John, when I changed cups. Arts grant some good luck vibes. Fantastic. Good luck for a fast fix. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, okay. Fair enough, Lisby. I mean, that's legit. That's legit. Judith is saying, like a chemist shop here, Band-Aid stash with hubby goes through creating items I've requested. A less pass rectangle flexible, applying excess pressure over the injured site creates a bruise. Yes, it does. Anyone else here watching ONJ movies? ONJ, why does that ring a bell? I don't know why that rings a bell. What does ONJ stand for? Because maybe I am watching it and I'm just not thinking of it as something called ONJ movies. I'll tell you what I've been doing. I've nearly caught up. Well, not caught up, but I'm nearly finished rewatching. Oh, sorry, that's why it rings a bell. Sorry, no, and no, I'm not. You guys all know more than me. Olivia Newton-John. But no, I haven't been. I tend not to do that. But yeah, I've been binge watching Supernatural to get through the end of it. But there were like a couple of sad episodes one after another, and I just needed like a little break, because like I was like, it's like, oh no, I remember this section, and it's just going to be like a little bit doom and gloomy for a while, and they needed it for the story arc, but I was like, I just need a break, so I started watching Sleepy Hollow, which I've never watched before, and I think the only thing I'd ever really seen about it was when they did a crossover with Bones, and I actually really enjoyed it, and then I was like, I was reading some stuff about it. Oh, I should possibly check the pattern on what I'm supposed to be doing. 2, 3, then 2, then 1. Isn't it weird when, even though I hadn't looked at the pattern at all, my brain was telling me what to do? That's how logical these patterns are. Sometimes. Other times I'm like, what did I do? 1, 2, 3. And then that. Okay, I'm just getting through the start. But yeah, so I'm watching Sleepy Hollow for the first time, and that has been really good. But because I tend to like Google around about shows as I'm watching the first couple of episodes, and the number of people that were like having a complaint that it was like trying to rip off Supernatural, and that it was like the poor man's Supernatural and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, well, yes, there was supernatural elements. I didn't feel that they were like any way related, other than the fact that they're both dealing with, like, I am currently in like episode 3, so it looks like ghosts and curses and witches so far. In Sleepy Hollow, and this morning I saw an ad for a new movie. What's it called? Day Shift, and it's a new Jamie Foxx movie where he's a vampire hunter, and I was sort of sitting there, and I was watching an interview with Jamie Foxx, and he was talking about it, and he was like, "I don't think there's ever been anything like this before, you know, we're hunting supernatural beings and just me and a mate driving around all over America hunting," and I'm sort of sitting there thinking, "Yeah, there's never been anything like that before ever." No, no, only 15 seasons of Supernatural. So, yeah. Um, but it is definitely, I think my brain's like, "Oh my god, what do you mean you've never seen anything like this before?" Like, and then I'm also watching, this other show, and you're just like, "Oh, it's crazy." Anyway, Knitspin Girls Natalie says, "I love Sleepy Hollow." Knitspin Girl says, "I love Sleepy Hollow." Um, John's been watching the last episode of Better Call Saul. Sue says, I still have a twin tub. It's great. We're on tank water." That's why my mum loved it, because quite often in places we lived as a kid, we were on tank water. So water was a limited resource. Um, so yeah, so it's just like, okay. But him never like so basically, I'm using a front loader for all the spinning bit, then dumping it, pulling it out and dumping it into a basket, then carrying it out into the back patio where I used to do all the dyeing and use the spinner out there. But yeah, it's been a bit hard on my shoulder actually. That was probably the worst part. And Natalie says it does annoy me that they handle those historical documents without gloves. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Jackie says a new season of Shetland starting in the UK. I wonder how long it'll take before we get it. Um, Sandman's supposed to be phenomenal. It's on my watch list, but I didn't want to watch. How do I put this? I didn't want to start something that I would get so sucked into that I would not go back to my other show that I was watching, which is an issue that I have. I get sucked into stuff and then don't go back to what I was watching. And like it's exactly the same as my crochet projects. It's like I haven't I haven't finished this thing, so I don't want to start something else, because if I do, I may not go back to this thing, which I was really worried about with my spinning, which I still haven't finished. I'm nearly done. Um, but yeah, so I do the same thing with TV. I think it's just my personality, honestly. But no, I have not seen Sandman yet, but it is on my watch list. I had to pause your podcast. Hubby's listening and he can listen in. And we're not saying anything hubbies can't hear. I don't think. I love Shetland. Shetland's such a good show, Francis. And Sally started watching Terra Nova on Disney Plus. I think I started watching it and I enjoyed like the start of it, and then something happened. I was just like, "That's not believable." And I'm like, none of it's believable, but yeah, I can't remember what it was. Um, Angela says, "I've started rewatching Keep, Sweep, and Obey. It's a docuseries." Oh, okay. I have no idea. That sounds like a house cleaning show. I mean, I could be wrong. Hide the current comment. There we go. Keep going. But yeah, so I mean, I tend to watch a lot of television shows while I'm doing other stuff. And that's why I like to rewatch shows, because if I'm like sitting on the couch, the TV on, and a laptop in my lap, and I'm answering emails or printing stuff out or whatever, I want to be able to walk away and then come back without going, "Oh, what did I miss?" Now, admittedly, sometimes I still go, "What did I miss?" Um, and have to go, back in and rewind it back a bit. But if it's a show I've seen before, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, that's where this happened," and you just keep going. So, like, one thing that we used to have on replay here all the time was Midsummer Murders, because it was just a staple that I'd seen all of the episodes, or at least up to that point, and I would just keep rewatching them well, not so much rewatching them, but have them in the background while I'm doing other stuff. Um Francis said, "I read one of the books that Shetland is based on. It was really good." I'm really enjoying that they're bringing out some new stuff. Like, sure, we're getting reboots and we're getting some other stuff. Like, there's a new Lord of the Rings series that's coming, but in the same time, we're also getting, uh, oh my god, my brain is just totally flipped on me. It's Amazon Prime. The Wheel of Time. We're also getting The Wheel of Time, which while the books have been around for ages, they've never done a series on it before or a movie. So pretty excited about that. Season 2 is coming. It's a bit different than the books, but it's a TV adaptation. They have to make it different. So, my daughter and I started Midsummer Murders back at the beginning. We're up to season 5. Yeah, and it's good to do that sometimes. That's what I've done with Supernatural. Now, admittedly, with Supernatural, I never watched season 15 because I tend to not watch the last season of shows that I'm going to be really sad when they go. So I haven't seen the last season of Chuck. I haven't seen the last season of Supernatural. There's a few different shows I haven't seen the last season of. Sometimes I don't realize it's going to be the last season and I watch it and then it's like, oh my God, what do you mean it's over? So yeah, it's definitely one of those things. John saying watching Grease as an adult is a completely different experience. Oh no, Game Widow said that. Yes, it is. Yes, it's definitely different. You're more like, oh my God, what are these kids doing? Jen says, I don't know this Midsummer Murders. It's a British MIDSOM. I think someone's actually typed it. Yeah, SOMER. It's a British detective series. It's really amazing. It's a lot of fun. Natalie says, don't bother with the last season of Sleepy Hollow. Oh, really? Was it one of the shows that ended on a downtick? That's something I loved about Supernatural is they ended the show, but nobody wanted it to end. And they were like rating just as well as they ever had done before. But yeah, I like it when shows do that. Don't watch the last season of Firefly. Oh, that means don't watch any seasons of Firefly. That's disappointing, that one right there. But yeah, it's good to. I like to rewatch shows while I'm doing stuff, so that Freaky says Firefly should never have stopped, at least not how it did. Yeah, like so the blooper reel. It was like they ended up making it into like a final hurrah, but it was actually being created just as the season 1 blooper reel. They didn't know that it was going to be the last season when they wrapped for season 1. It was axed mid production, like they just wrapped up season 1. They were expecting to come back, and then they did not. John says the last season of Lucifer is great. I'm only up to about season 3 in Lucifer. I think that's one that I was watching and then got sidetracked on. Vampire says she's finished season 4 of Virgin River. Now, to hope they do another season. I believe that season 5 is slated in. I thought I was reading an interview with what's his face. I can't remember what's his name. The Kiwi lead. Anyway, and he was obliquely referencing when he'll be back. I started watching Grimm a while back, then stopped for some reason, and now they took it off Stan, and I can't watch it anywhere. Oh, Sally. Oh, no. I actually have missed the last. Grimm's another one that I didn't watch the end of, and I love Grimm. It was such an awesome. I'm wondering if I've got it somewhere. I might have it on a hard drive somewhere. I think. But actually, no, I don't have it all. I don't have the last of it. I only have the start of it. Judith is saying that she needs a stepladder for everything. I think Judith might be a little bit further back in the stream. Yes, I have stepladders in various rooms because I am 5'3". Kerry, it is called Tea for Talia. It's an Australian tea, so if you're in Australia, I'm not sure where you are, that they'll ship to you. I don't think that Natalie ships internationally. But one of the mods can drop a link in for Tea for Talia. Natalie is a friend and a friend of the channel, so I'm happy to support. If I use a stepladder now and then not so many things would go over my head. Oh, that's all right. Yeah, I think Judith is a bit further back in the chat. She'll catch up. She'll get there. Sally's popped in the link. There you go. I'm currently drinking the mint slice, which it's a tough call for me, but I think it's up there with my favorites. That and the Lady Grey. Freaky says I didn't think well, I wasn't going to, and then I did, and now I regret it. Oh my gosh. I do try to, not fall for your pranks, Freaky, but every now and again you get me. Deb says we're watching Lincoln Lawyer and really enjoying it. I haven't seen that one. I don't know what that one is. Where would I watch that if I wanted to have a look at it? I've got a mix of like Blu-rays, DVDs, streaming services. I don't actually usually watch much on television. Like I watch all my things on the television, but I don't watch network television. Which is, maybe I'm part of the demise of network TV production. I don't know. I don't care that much. If they made shows I want to watch, I'd watch them, but I'm not interested in pretty well anything reality TV, which rules out 90% of the TV made in Australia now. And I don't like soap operas. So that's what, the other 10%? Yeah. Our Deb sits on Netflix. All right, I'll check it out. Yeah. So I don't know what else to say about that. Francis says I still watch ABC and SBS. I still watch Channel 9, right? Like I watch the Today Show in the morning when we're having breakfast and getting ready for school, which is like a little, catch up on the news. I also like ABC News. And then I've been watching The Block so far. It's a build houses, that are falling apart, renovate them, build them up, and kind of show. And so far I'm enjoying it, but lately they get to this point and then have to add drama, and I don't like the drama. I like the construction. I like seeing people's dream of a room and then delivering the room. I like that. It reminds me of a game I used to play, but I don't like it when there's drama. Last season there was too much drama for me. Hey Nettie, welcome to the chat. Jen says Lincoln Lawyer, the movie and the series is awesome. Prime for the movie, Netflix for the series. Oh, good to know. Do I watch the movie first or the series first? Oh, okay. So it's also part of the Bosch series. Hey, Infected Area. It is okay because I like Bosch. Bosch is cool. By the same writer. That's awesome to know. No reality TV for Freaky Geek. It's too scripted. I don't know. Like, I just think it's just, I just don't like it. Movie first. Okay. Thank you, Jen. Kerry says, I just watch the reveal show on the Sundays. That would make sense, Kerry. That would make sense to do that. Because then you don't really see the drama. You just see the judges walking around and then choosing which rooms they like. Because you do get to see what it looked like before, which is the dumpster, and then what they've done after, and it looks amazing. So, yeah. Yeah. I watch a lot of YouTube as well, Artsog. So I watch tons of YouTube, Netflix. Prime Video is probably my favorite of the streaming services. They just have a lot of the stuff I like on there. I also like Disney Plus, and Netflix, and Paramount Plus because hello Star Trek. But yeah. I'm waiting to see, for me, like there's lots of is season 4s of such and such happening. I'm hanging out to see if we get a season 4 of The Orville. Now I haven't watched season 3 yet because none of my streaming services have season 3 yet. Because I don't get them all because I don't want them all. There's some that I've never get. I would never get that. Don't fall off the table. You're too heavy to pick up. Where are we? Given they're building in Gisborne, the drama will be frozen atmosphere of mud. Also, the fact they're driving to the other side of the city for supplies. I don't understand the last of that. We've got Discovery Plus, all of my home reno shows and cooking shows galore. Oh, nice. Yeah, I've been watching The Orville on Amazon, but do they have season 3 of it could be a thing in Australia because quite often in Australia, it has to go to Foxtel first, which is like the big and I don't have Foxtel and I'll never buy Foxtel. And you could gift me Foxtel and I still wouldn't have it installed. That's how I feel about Foxtel. All the seasons of The Orville are on SBS on demand, no streaming service, including the season 3 that's just come out. Molly says it annoys me that the streaming services in Australia are behind. Yeah, not with everything. Like, the Disney Plus content, when it's released, we get it. But it's more that like they will have an agreement with unless it's like a Disney Plus show or an Amazon original or something like that, it quite often will go to Foxtel or Binge first because they'll pay more money for it. And then you have to wait until their agreement is over before it comes back to the other ones. So I'm just having a whinge. It's totally a first world problem. Oh my God, I can't watch season 3 of The Orville because I don't have that particular streaming service. Season 3 is on Hulu, but we don't get Hulu in Australia. So, yeah. Lisby, is season 3 on Disney yet? Because I was looking at it last week and I couldn't see it because I caught up. I'd missed the last 2 episodes of season 2, so I made sure I had all those watched ready. And then I was like, wait, where's season 3? Because I just assumed it'd be on Disney, but it's not yet. Or at least not as of last week. Unless I'm blind, which is legit. It could totally be like, I just missed it. It's been there the whole time, you complainy complainer. I need that on a shirt. Complainy complainers. Yeah, Francis says, binge annoys me. They keep buying the latest episodes of shows that I've been watching for years, and then they're on another yeah. Knitspin Girl says that season 3 is on SBS. All right, I'm going to check that out. But The Orville, there's talk, we don't know if there's going to be a season 4. Seth MacFarlane doesn't know if there's going to be a season 4. Either that or he's just hiding things from us, and I don't like that. Orville New Horizons. Okay, thank you, John. I'll check that out. Orville New Horizons, because it's not season. Oh, maybe that's why I can't find it, because I'm looking for just season 3. All right. Jackie says it's being dropped a week at a time on SBS up to episode 10. Cool. All right. I will start watching. Because it's a good show. I think if you're a Star Trek fan, you can really appreciate The Orville. My dad doesn't like it, but he doesn't like anything that's not Star Trek. He doesn't even like Star Wars. And I don't understand. Dad. It's really good. He doesn't like Lower Decks either, which is legit Star Trek. He also doesn't like Picard, which he calls lame Star Trek. That's lame. That's lame. This is totally lame. They should just let him be dead. He's really old. Let him die off. Why is he working? I'm so glad Dad doesn't watch my live streams. I'd get in so much trouble for that. Funny but also serious. That's what I like about it. They use humor to talk about some super serious topics. Does he like disco? Yes, he likes disco. Oh my goodness, grumpy old man. Yeah, he just doesn't like when people mess with his shows. It's just I like this show. This show's great. And then something will happen. It's I hate this show now. I can't watch it. They've ruined it for me. Nick is watching along. Hello, Abby. Hello, Nick. I couldn't get into Star Trek. I tried, but it wasn't for me. Fair enough. They say you're either a Trekkie or a Star Wars fan. No, I'm both. I like all the science fiction and fantasy stuff, except for Game of Thrones. I don't like Game of Thrones. Picard was better than Disco. I think Picard was better than Discovery as well, honestly. I'm grateful for Discovery because it brought in Picard, it brought in Strange New Worlds, but I really struggle with my biggest issue with Discovery, right? Was the first few seasons with those weird looking Klingons. Like the Klingons are wrong. Like, dude, I understand that your people get to have their own artistic license, but what the heck? Seriously. Like, what were you thinking to change up the Klingons like that? Yeah, my husband got into Game of Thrones. I just couldn't. He'd be like, "You normally like these kinds of shows," and I'm like, "I do, I really do," but I just could not get past season 1. I was just like, I tried for like 5 episodes, and I was just like, "Nah, I'm out. Enjoy it yourself." Um, Lord of the Rings is long. Yes, it is. Lord of the Rings is very long. I love Lord of the Rings, but I have not seen the Hobbit movie, which I should. I've got it on Blu-ray. I just haven't sat down and watched it. And now there's a new Hobbit series coming out, and I should totally be up to date. Yeah, look, I again am happy Game of Thrones exists. It's just not for me. What have I done? Oh no, I'm good. I'm doing the right thing. It's A-okay. I can keep going. Yeah, Game of Thrones are just and again, I'm happy that they're working on like a prequel so that they don't lose all of that effort and that world building that they made. One of the issues I had with it was they got ahead of the writer, so they had to go off on their own little tangent. So I have less respect for that, which sounds terrible because I love like television writers. I think they do phenomenal work. But I think if you're going to be using the books need to exist, right? Wait till the author's finished writing the series. Anyway, that's just me being Bussy McBus Pants. Mind you, but that particular author, they could be waiting 50 years before he finishes writing the books. Where are we? I found the Hobbit movie too long. It didn't need to be 3 by 3 hour movies. Yeah, I think that they could tighten their editing up with those Lord of the Rings movies, honestly. But like based on the books, like I found the books so hard to get through because they're just so long. Let me look. So 1, 2, then. Yeah, I'm not surprised the author gave up on this series because they got ahead of him and they've changed some of the stuff, and there's no point him finishing the series really because he has to basically write it how they made the TV, and then he's just one of those people that to step up from fan fiction writing like fiction like that. Kerry says I got rid of Stan. Yeah, we got rid of Stan as well, much to Abby's disgust. And every now and again, I think, oh man, I want to watch that, but it's on Stan. It's like, wait 6 months and it'll be on one of the others. All right, we are up to the next row. I'm just moving my little charty chart. Come on, purple. You couldn't get through the Lord of the Rings book, Angela. I don't blame you. I would get bogged down whenever there was a battle. I'd just be like, why is there so much detail for this, for this battle? Like they battled for 14 days and you actually have a blow by blow of every single action. It's just too much. Josie, welcome to the chat. It's looking amazing. Thank you. I'm very much enjoying this blanket. I go through phases where I hate it because it's still, not finished. But right now I am happy. I'm behind. Hubby keeps following me from room to room listening, and he can listen in. I love the Lord of the Rings books. Yeah, Tolkien goes into too much detail about things that don't matter. Things that don't matter to us. They obviously mattered to him. But yeah. I missed some of the chat. I'm just going to scroll back up a little just to double check. Kerry says, I have a streaming service that's invite only. Oval 3 is on it. The streaming services movies and the recent Elvis movies just appeared. I just type in, see if they have it. Okay. That sounds like an interesting streaming service. I really like the Lord of the Rings books. I read them after I saw the first movie. Okay. My mum says the same thing about Tolkien. Yeah. Look, it was his, but the thing, like, we have to remember, right, is while, sure, he's wordy, he goes into so much detail about every single battle, but he created the most amazing worlds. He created beautiful elves and hobbits and gave dwarfs a different, like, I mean, I know he didn't invent all of these things over there, but the worlds he built around them were just amazing. Yeah, and Kelly says you have to think of the time when he wrote The Lord of the Rings because you had to describe everything because there was no TV. I mean, like, a lot of my favorite books are old. So, I mean, that's legitimate for all of them. But not all of them went to the same level of detail. But in saying that, because he did go into that level of detail, it has made creating his worlds a bit trickier because you've got to, people know if it's not right. But also they're beautiful. So I don't know. I'm torn. I just realized that I can't get through the books. I'm not that, heavy duty, hardcore. Can't get into it. I couldn't get into The Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings books. Too much rambling. I only got through Moby Dick because it was an audiobook version while I was crocheting. Yeah, look, I couldn't get through Moby Dick either, but there's some things I just don't struggle with and some things that I do. And it comes down to how dry the writing is. And sometimes the writing is very dry. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, then that. Okay, so then it's, hang on. This is a very different row. So I'm just, and, right, let me look. Okay, that's going to be easy. All right. Hey, Enigmata, it's been for ages since we've seen you in a chat. I'm still working on the same blanket, though. I found the extraneous details in where the best building. I agree with you. That's the problem. That's the problem I have, Artsog, is those details are what make the world so believable. But sometimes reading through the details, you're just like, really? And you push because you know it's going to be phenomenal. But it's just hard. Jen says, or the narrator, if it's an audiobook sometimes. Oh, yeah. The narrator can make or break a book. I really love listening to the Dresden Files, right? And they've got James Masterson narrating all of them. And I like his reading. It's great. And I love it when I find out that Will Wheaton's reading something because, again, he does a great job. I'm finding I've got favorite audiobook readers. And I know they're not the writer of the book. I get it. But I really do appreciate a well-read book as well. Enigmata says, I was going to say, the Queen blanket puts things into perspective when someone asks you to knit a blanket. Yeah, it really does. I don't make other people blankets very often. I'm going to be making my dad one after I finish the Queen. Not a Queen, though. He's just getting a granny square blanket because that's what he wants. He wants something on the couch to keep his toes warm. John says Jim Dale should narrate everything. I mean, Australians won't disagree there. Jim Dale is amazing. Sally, the Outlander books. That's like, I could not listen to what sound like my nana reading that. No, I couldn't do it. I was like, at first I was like, oh yeah, this is fine. La 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 la, countryside. Then hot bodies, and I'm just like, nope. My nana can't talk about this stuff. Yeah, some authors are terrible at reading. I've got like these audiobooks that I listen to all the time. Like basically I've been replaying the same 5 books over and over and over again. I put them on when I'm sleeping. They help to block out the additional noise. I have noise cancelling headphones and this audiobook. And the audiobook stops after 15 minutes. And if I shake my phone, it'll start up again. So if I wake up, I can shake my phone. Oops, what am I doing here? I don't know. I'm just inventing things. Oh, wait. Do I have a problem? I know it's fine. I just need to. Luckily I saw it. But yeah, just, there are things that your Nana shouldn't read to you. Lisby says I tried listening to the Bridgerton novels, couldn't do that. Oh yeah, sorry, that's what I was talking about. And so they're the Solar Trader Tales. It's like quarter share, half share, full share, captain share, owner's share, right? And the version that I've got is the author reading it, and he's fantastic. And which I managed to get as like a free thing from when they were part of Podio Books, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, he hired a professional reader to read his books, and they're available in all the places. And I thought, I'm going to support the author. He helps me sleep every night for about the last 8 years. I had listen, and I'm like, oh my God, this reader is bad. So yeah, I didn't rebuy them. This is nerdy, but I love the audiobook Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. It's by Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's just amazing. Yeah, I listen to a lot of nonfiction audiobooks as well, like through the day while I'm doing stuff. I love a good educational thing where I sit there and just go, huh, right. Sometimes I listen to audiobooks and I'm shocked to find out how big the book is afterwards. Yeah, they've sometimes, like, especially if it's been like an abridged version audiobook, and you're just like, wait, what? I need someone to record the reading of the Dungeons and Dragons rulebook so I can play role-playing while crafting. Plan role-playing while crafting. Yeah. Stephen Fry for the Harry Potters is good. I agree with you. Yes. Stephen Fry's great. I've got a few of his different books that he's narrated. The Game of Thrones narrator was awful. Okay, well, I haven't tried that one because I couldn't get into Game of Thrones. It's so awesome. But that's the thing, isn't it? Sometimes a reader will be awesome for so many people and then rubbish for other people. And it's totally subjective. It's totally subjective to the person listening. Like, I know plenty of people who have absolutely zero problem with the reader of Outlander, but I just cannot. It feels like I'm listening to my grandma, and it just feels legit wrong. So yeah, it was just too much for me. Too much. Well, I just downloaded a new book this week. I think it was the next one of the Dresden Files. Leanne's got a scoot. Have an awesome day, Leanne. I'm a huge Stephen King fan, and he has a few audiobooks on YouTube. The one of the guy trapped in the toilet is so engrossing and gross. I gagged a few times. Yeah, I love Stephen King and Dean Koontz, but sometimes they are just too descriptive for me. I can't listen to them because when I hear something, I remember it. And so I can't listen to horror. I can read horror, but I can't listen to it. I know that sounds so bizarre, but otherwise it replays in my head and it messes with me. I love Michael Kramer and Kate Redding. They're a husband and wife team that read the Wheel of Time series and the Stormlight Archive series. Oh, I'll have to check it out because I like the Wheel of Time. I think I've got the Wheel of Time, or at least one of them. I'm going to check now. Where's my Audible? I have a credit to use. All right, let me look in my library. Wheel of Time. I'm like double checking you guys can't see because I'm like, oh yeah, there's some guilty books in here. I thought I did get a Wheel of Time. Let me just, when you've been getting Audible books for like years, you end up with quite a collection. I had to pause it for a little while because I was like, I've got like 8 credits to use. Oh yeah, I've got the Eye of the World. So the first book, Kate Reading and Michael Kramer. Okay, they are the author. Cool, I like that. That's great. Yeah, so I have to pause my Audible subscription every now and again just sort of to catch up with, like, using up the credits. I'll pop a link over in the fun zone for anybody who doesn't have Audible. If you want to get it, I'd really appreciate it if you used my link. You'll get a free book. Um, I don't think I've ever plugged my Audible thing before, but I love Audible. It's not inexpensive, but I just find for me it's one of those costs that it's just like it's sanity money. Being able to have a new book read to me while I'm walking around doing housework or something like that. I don't have to find time to sit and read. I can be doing something while listening. I love that. Knitspin Girl says, I just can't do audiobooks. I need to read myself. You know what? Sometimes I do just need to sit with the Dead Tree edition in my lap. Absolutely. I love to read, but reconsidering listening to books like Outlander and Lord of the Rings, they're the 2 books I couldn't read all the way through because of how they are written. Josie says it works out. Love Audible. Have you listened to the Stand series? No, because it's horror. So I can't listen to horror. I've tried. I can listen to like sci-fi and fantasy and stuff like that. And I've got some really great ones that I love. And they can get a little bit graphic sometimes, but I can't listen to like Stephen King, Dean Koontz, that sort of level of horror. I have to read it. I can't listen to it. Because my brain, like if I've got to remember where something is, I will literally stand there with it in my hand and go, I have put this in the front pocket of my backpack and zip it closed. And then I'll be looking for it later and then I'll stop and I'll be like, I put that in the front pocket of my backpack and unzip it and bring it out. Like, yeah. Holly says, I love Audible because I can crochet and work while listening to the books, but some larger books I listen and read. Yeah, look, I've got books, like I've got the entire Wheel of Time series in my bookshelf, as well as Audible in my phone. I've got David Eddings books in my bookshelf as well as in my phone. Raymond E. Feist books in my bookshelf as well as in my phone, and like things like some of my YouTube educator books, I've got both the book and like the Dead Tree edition as well as the audio version. Like it depends on what I'm doing. Like sometimes if I just need to quickly reference something in those guys, I'll grab the Dead Tree edition. If I am just listening in the car or because I mean I've like when I drop Abby at school, that's 2 hours a day in the car, like half an hour to school, half an hour back, half an hour back to school to pick her up, and then half an hour back. Now, admittedly, once Abby's in the car, I don't get to listen to an audiobook. She's pretty much like she's not learnt the supernatural rule of car passengerisms, which is driver chooses songs, passenger shuts their cake hole. She hasn't worked that out yet, which is probably good because it means she can't throw it back at me when she's the driver. But yeah. Enigmata says, I like horror, but not gross stuff. Yeah, I like thriller stuff and horror. Thriller, I can deal a bit more with listening to, but when it comes to the gross stuff, I can't listen to it because my brain pictures things like that. When I'm reading it, it's different. I don't remember it as much, but when I listen to it, I remember it graphically. So, John says, I've read William Gibson's books. He came out with a new series. I haven't gotten them yet, but I'm rereading the Sprawl trilogy in audio format before starting the new series. I do that with TV shows. Like it's like, oh, and the next edition of something's coming out or whatever, and I'll re-watch everything first. So, like I know that the Winchesters is coming out, like it's a prequel to Supernatural, which is why I've restarted watching Supernatural again because I want to have all of Supernatural fresh in my mind before I start watching the Winchesters. Deb D is off. Bye, Deb D. Have an awesome day. Where are we? Sally's saying, I listened to a Stephen King book once and it was a really good, but not horror. It was based on the JFK assassination. Okay. Stephen King does do some bits and bobs every now and again that are not horror. You're right. Goodness me. I think we're going to get 3 rows done today. I'm very excited. I mean, I've still got a little bit to go. I won't get too excited just yet. I'll just be like, calm, temper yourself. That's an excellent question, Enigmata. Let's go to desk view. Okay, so it's huge. It's enormous. It's 2.2 meters that way. And it's over my height. So it's over 1.6 meters tall. I lifted it up just before live stream. It came to like here, like while still touching the ground. So it's like 165, 170 centimeters tall. And I still have like, I think we worked out 4 or 5 colors left to put on. So yeah, it's getting there. It's very big. And like, if we then, oops, what am I? Let's just the scissors and then we can flip that there. So right now, we're currently working in the second repeat of this color. So, is it that color? Yeah, that color. We've still got that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more colors left to go. So it's going to be easily another 2. It's going to be 2 meters long at least, as well as 2.2 meters wide. So it's coming along. Yeah. We're getting there, you guys. It's slow going when I only do it during live streams. I should work on it more outside of live streams. But lately I haven't been working on any craft. This is it. This is the crafting time of my week at the moment, is just doing live streams. All right, back to the crochet. I love the yellow piece. That transition is gorgeous. Yeah, so that yellow section is the middle of the blanket. So once you get through that sort of long yellow section, then it starts transitioning back through the colors, the same colors the other way. So yeah, it looks awesome. And I can't wait to lay it out somewhere and show you guys how it looks. I should probably lay it out on the bed, like, and just I'll need a step ladder to get the height to be able to show enough, but I'll try and do that later. I also watched the series on Stan, but for the life of me, I can't remember what it was called. Okay. Thank you, Kathy. I am very much enjoying it. Oh, Josie says, I've nearly finished making a top using silk I bought from you years ago. Oh, wow. I can't wait to see that, Josie. Yeah. No, I'm enjoying the Queen, and I know it sounds a bit weird because I'm like, oh, I was on Ravelry and I bought a new pattern. I bought the pattern for the krill shawl from Tina. I don't know if I'll make it anytime soon. I just wanted to add it to my collection. I've got my silk top that I'm knitting that I haven't done much on. I can't even try it on yet. That's how much I've not done yet, and it's a top down, raglan. You could legit try it on if it was, a bit further along. Vampire, I don't know what I would do with this blanket if I had to, especially when my shoulder was like it's still getting over being dislocated. But there is no way I could flip it. Like, it's just too heavy. And I'm so glad that a blanket this thick, heavy, and dense does not need to be flipped to be worked. Kind of relieved. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very relieved. It would be a nightmare having to flip a project this big. I think while I love this style of blanket and I love how it's looking, you get to a certain stage and it's quite early and it's no longer a transportable project. And a lot of my craft time is sitting in the car, like waiting for things. So this was the project I'm trying to focus on to get it done. and I can't take it with me anywhere. So whenever I work on something else, I have legit guilt. I'm like, oh my God, I could totally be spending this time working on the Queen. It's like, no, you couldn't. You're in the car. It can't fit in the car. It's too big. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Oh, that's it there. So do you have little car projects or like travel projects separate to your like big projects? I'm just, I think I've asked this question before and I think you all do. But yeah, it is definitely definitely a thing for me, having a small project as well as the bigger one. And my for those of you playing at home, my fusion blanket is still going. I'm every now and again I will take it with me and just add some more stuff on the edges. It's nearly ready to join together. Enigmata says, not sure if you've mentioned this before, but what do you think about the new Chalgoo line? I was able to get the cables and like them. The new needles are beautiful, but so expensive. I haven't got to see the new needles. They're actually not out yet. They're just on pre-orders. But yeah, $4.50 Australian for a set of knitting needles for me is not in the ballpark. It's basically like double the price of their other sets. They look beautiful. They look gorgeous. But I'm happy with my stainless steels. I don't need them. The cables, however, look fantastic, and I have not as yet tried them. I don't want to put a new cable on a project that I'm working on just because will it change my tension? Maybe. And with this particular yarn, it will be so obvious. So I don't want to do that. So I need to start another, even just a little face washer or something, just so I can have a play. But yeah, I love the idea of the new cables, although I've never really cared if my red swivel, but I do love that they're a finer cable and that they're more forgiving if you want to do like magic loop with them or something. They're not so stiff. So I definitely like that about them. We had a big chat about them 2 or 3 live streams ago. We went through and compared a whole pile of cables together. But yeah, I like them. I don't know if I'll get the Fortes. If someone wants me to order some in, I'll try. But at the moment, I can't even pre-order. They ended up with a huge number pre-ordered. So they're not sure if they will have another run yet because they were totally limited edition. So, but the cables aren't. So we can all have the cables. So I'm going to have the cables with my stainless steel tips. Bob says a 10-stitch blanket is my car knitting. But isn't that like another big project? Like, don't 10-stitch blankets end up pretty big? Angela says, Josie was saying if we can buy them separately, I might just grab the tips and cables in my favorite needle size. At this stage, Josie, as far as I'm aware, you can only buy a complete set. I haven't seen anything come out for buying the individual tips. So yeah. Angela, excuse me. Angela says I usually have 2 projects on at the same time. Lately, one is the main project and the other one is give myself a break. Yeah. Enigmata says $4.50. Ouch, ridiculous. The cable's lovely, but the price of the new needles are insane. I wish they sold the needles separately because I just don't use too many sizes. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of people in that same boat. Yeah. Pearly Shore is saying, I'm testing them out in Magic Loop right now, but not finding a noticeable improvement or difference between them and my red cables. Did you notice a problem with the red cables? Because not everybody had the same problem I did with the red cables, using them as Magic Loops. Some people have no problem. And I end up with like ladders because I'm a loose knitter is the issue. Jackie says I have some cables waiting for me with a friend who picks them up on the weekend. Nice. Nice. Oh, come on. In you go, little stitch. There we go. But yeah, I think it's going to come down to everything. Everyone's personal preferences. That's what it's going to boil down to. I don't care too much whether they swivel or not. I just like how flexible they are. For me, if they just made the blue flexies in more lengths, I'd be happy. So, I don't need much. Josie said, I find the red cables a tad too stiff for Magic Loop. It's doable, but you have to be careful. And that's the boat I'm in. Dolores says, I just finished my no-brainer project. It was a habitation throw for a new nephew. I'm holding off casting on a simple project for a little bit so that I can get some more stocking knitting done. Oh, that's right, because you've got to do all the Christmas stockings. Absolutely. Which cables are best for Magic Loop from Nettie? Nettie, it's totally personal preference. It really is. But you want something that will that you like. And that's the thing, like you might need to try a few, like lots of people love the red cables for magic looping. I'm not the biggest fan. I prefer using the nylons if I'm going to magic loop. And I don't like the nylons because they're all like twirly, which is, you know, one of the reasons why I love the Swift 360s. I think they're going to be the good in-betweenies. Because they have the swivel for those that love the swivel, because there's lots of people that love the swivel. But they also have no memory now, which is great because the memory in cables really ticks me off. So it's personal preference, Nettie. It's going to come down to have a go of each one and see which one you like better. And then use the other cables for not magic loop. I take a ball of 8-ply and a 4mm hook everywhere. I made little pouches and sometimes blanket squares, hexagons. Did you guys see that screen just go black for a second there? Or was it just me? It could have just been me. Jackie says, I think the key with magic loop is to have a long enough cable so you have enough room for the loops. I agree, but I normally magic loop with 100 centimeters, so that shouldn't be a problem. But in saying that, I am a loose knitter, so my stitches on the edges are already loose. So the red pushing it back open again can mess with the stitches a little. But if I was a tighter knitter, it probably wouldn't happen. I find the new cables helpful, especially joining another no more floppy with the swivel. I don't know what that means. No more floppy with the swivel. I find the new cables almost too thin as I'm used to the red ones. Lovely cables though. Yeah, I can see if you're used to the red ones, that would be a problem. But I've been using the blue ones as much as I can, and the minis. I will actually use a step down, small tips onto mini cables because I like the really fine cables. So that's all. I just use minis if I'm going to be magic looping. I use a mini cable. Judith says, no matter how hard I tighten the Chowgri red lace, it keeps unwinding and I get a kink. Are you tightening yours with a key and a rubber gripper? Just out of curiosity. They shouldn't come undone. So if there's coming undone, there could be a problem and you need to send that one back to your dealer that you got it from and get a replacement. But if you're tightening with a cable and a rubber gripper, then that shouldn't be coming undone. They pretty well lock in quite well. The only time I really have a problem with them coming undone is if I finger tighten. But I also have to make sure I use a rubber gripper. I can't just tighten with the key because it does just turn in my fingers and I don't get it tight enough. I use the rubber gripper, or even just a thick, the old red rubber bands that your mail comes in sometimes. Just wrap one of those around it and hold onto the rubber band. So yeah, but yeah, I definitely need something to grip onto better. So you use a key and you use RUV. I'm not quite sure what that is. We'll see if you change that. Oh yeah, you've retracted that. But yeah, if it's not locking in tight and it keeps coming undone, is it with every single cable you have or just the one? And is it with all the different tips or just the one set of tips? Because sometimes there's a problem like with a set of tips or with a cable. It's not usually with both. It's usually one or the other, and it's normally like one cable or one set of or one tip, because there's sometimes there's a problem with the machining. Not often. I don't see it very often, but it does happen. But yeah, send them back to the dealer that you bought them from. Lily Sentner, yes, I am. I'm making a mosaic crochet. I'll flip that open. There we go. Oh, look, would go like this. There we go. A mosaic crochet queen size blanket in like a million colors. So yeah, and thank you. I always use the rubber gripper from Kelly. I wish the standard sizes had keyhole like the shorties. I agree. I love being able to use the 2 keys and being able to lock them like that. I think that's phenomenal. Judith says that Knit Pro do the same. I would say if it could be, if you're having problems with both ChowGoo and Knit Pros, that it might be a knitting style thing, and maybe your knitting style doesn't suit interchangeables. That's always actually a possibility as well. I've one lady that no matter which kind of interchangeable she uses, she has a problem, and she's just gone into fixed circulars, so she doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Because we tried tons of stuff. She would send, like, I actually know her in real life, so we got together. I used the needles, they never came undone for me at all. She used the needles, they came undone instantly. I just watched it happen. So sometimes you are not an interchangeable needles person, which sounds horrible, but that's why we all have choices. Like, there's so many choices. I have a birthday coming up in November. I thought I'd give a very big ChowGoo hint to my girls. Yeah, I would definitely be giving them a hint for sure. If you are a knitter and you want some good needles, I love the ChowGoo stainless steel. I just use the small set. I don't have a complete set, which sounds so bizarre being a ChowGoo dealer. But I just don't use enough of the bigger sizes. I've got like a 6.5 mil that I needed for a project. I just bought the tips and a step down, so I don't even have to buy the large cable. I just bought the adapters, which I actually leave attached to the end of those tips so I don't lose them. Pearly's saying that Knit Pro undid for her, but she's never had a problem with the ChowGoos, so now she's a convert. Awesome. Emma says, Enigmata says, so many needles and options released this year. Like, he also released nuclear swivel cables this year. Did they really? I didn't know that. Vampy says, wood parcel finally here. Now the challenge of opening it. Is it like a challenge to open it when nobody's looking, or is it like a challenge to open it because it's like sticky taped to high heaven and you don't accidentally want to cut through your yarn when you cut through the packaging? I had a delivery come like that, where I was just like, yay, and then cut through like a ball of yarn. And I was just like, no, why was a package like this? I was lucky to get my ChowGoo a couple of years ago before the pandemic price increase. Got my complete set for about $10 more than what the small set cost. Now the price is 50% higher. Yeah, I got my set, like, it's got to be 10 years ago. Easily 10 years ago. And they were very inexpensive, but also the Australian dollar was doing a lot better. And that made a big difference as well. Whoops, accidentally clicked something. Let's just click away from that before anything bad happens. There we go. Whoops. Hopefully that didn't change anything for you guys. Yeah. I'm just looking at this YouTube screen and it's got all black borders on it. Is it just... I don't know what that means. Maybe there's space for a gap. No problem with the ChowGoo undoing for me. Knit Pro did all the time, so I only use ChowGoo now. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You got to trial and error. But if like all the brands are undoing for you, it could be a knitting style issue. Hey, look at this. We got to the end. I was going to say before time. Nobody told me it was time. I wasn't even looking. Well, we got 3 rows done anyway. All right. So let me just mark off on my little chart where we're up to. Where's my pen? We just finished 182. 181, 182. So we got 3 rows done today. So woohoo! Aren't we awesome? Yeah, I do know that now, Sally. I do know that now. Thank you. Nettie says 42 likes that. That is awesome. That's so cool. Oh, goodness me. Way too much tape. It's a new book. Oh, it is. I hate it when they use too much tape. That's annoying. 3 rows. Yeah, that's right. 3 rows of like 2.2 meters long is awesome. I'm chuffed. You guys, I had such an awesome time hanging out today. And we will, if you've got any further questions or anything, any photos you want to share of what you're working on, pop them in over in the Fiberific Fun Zone. It's our Facebook group. If you're not a member, you need to become a member. It's free. And I will see you all in the Fun Zone. Otherwise, I will see you next Thursday for our Fiberific live craft and chat. And I'll catch you all later and have an awesome week and weekend. Bye now.